Hey, can you find a water bottle for me?
Something so simple.
Hi, Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Thursday, March the 8th. Well, the legislative session is winding up, and there was a little bit of drama in the House of Representatives this morning. The House waved the white flag on an effort to provide a tax subsidy to private school tuition, grades K through 12. They put in a sneaky little piece of special language on the state treasurer's appropriation to allow tax deduction and other tax benefits to people who make tuition payments to private schools. This amounts to a direct state tax subsidy of private schools, sort of a backdoor shell game voucher program. There were objections to this from public school defenders. They almost passed it yesterday with 74 votes when they needed 75, but they couldn't get any more. They actually lost some. This was not a good deal, and the more information that came out, the more people understood it was not a good deal. House Speaker Jeremy Gillum desperately wanted to pass it. They gave up today. They're going to take that amendment out of the bill and finish the session, and the Treasurer's Office will get its appropriation. However, Gillum will introduce this bill as a freestanding measure in the special legislative session that's going to be called next week. The governor will put it on the call of the session so it can be considered, and it will need a lower level of voting, but at least it'll get a full debate next time, and perhaps some of its shortcomings will be emphasized, including that we provide more benefits at the state level than the federal government does at the federal level, and that's the reason we were making the change in the first place. Well, the Florida legislature amazed everybody yesterday. It completed action on a true gun control bill. It includes raising the age for rifle purchases, a 3-day waiting period for purchases, money for school security, the ability to take guns from people who've been reported to be potentially very dangerous. Really meaningful stuff. You might want more, but this was a victory for gun safety and a defeat for the NRA, no doubt about it. The Arkansas legislature should consider the same thing. Moms Demand Action, the Gun Sense group, it was going to speak today to the State Board of Education in Arkansas and talk about gun safety and school safety and say that you can't have a discussion about school safety without talking about gun safety as well. This is something Asa Hutchinson refused to consider in his own school safety task force. He says guns aren't the issue. Of course they are. The Moms group also says you can't have a gun safety task force and a school safety task force without including students and parents. Something else that the governor left out of his own task force. They're going to try and press the issue today and again later next month at the state board. Mark Martin, the Secretary of State's in circuit court today. There's a lawsuit challenging the state's new law that says you have to have a photo ID to be able to vote. Martin is in court today to protest that he just doesn't have time to comply with the State Freedom of Information Act and provide information in his office that shows difficulties arising from this new voter law. Very busy man. There's going to be a hearing Monday in Circuit Judge Alice Gray's court at which she'll decide whether to enjoin this photo ID law in the coming primary session. Attorney General Leslie Rutledge says the state is immune from lawsuit under the new sovereign immunity precedent set by the Arkansas Supreme Court. Here's the thing, if you can't sue the state over getting in the way of people's right to vote, we don't have a constitution anymore. It's that simple. It's time for the Supreme Court to say just what it meant on this immunity ruling, and if they meant what they seem to have said, then we can just shut down the Constitution entirely. Medical marijuana still raising questions. People are hopping mad about the process by which winners were awarded for cultivation permits. Latest interesting question is the fact that Travis Story, a member of the commission, gave one of his highest scores to a business from Berryville that he's done legal work, or at least he's done legal work for the family that owns the company that's doing the marijuana business. Did he know that that was related to his legal customers? He's not taking questions, but these are the kind of questions that deserve to be answered to know if we had a free and fair and truly transparent process. The State Board of Education is meeting today, and it's slapping down requests from school districts in South Arkansas to be exempt from the school choice law. That is, they don't want to be open to unlimited school transfers. They can demonstrate that they're under federal court orders to desegregate, and these transfer laws would promote segregation with neighboring districts that have much different racial makeups. The State Board of Education doesn't care. They say a new state law says the state board and not federal courts will decide what's constitutional and what isn't. We've been through this before in 1957 with Orville Faubus and Jim Johnson. It looks like we're going to go through it again. Federal superiority generally rules in this matter, and there's a good reason why it does, but not without some problems against the state. Nullification is back in Arkansas. U.S. Representative Rick Crawford is raising questions with the Justice Department and the Federal Trade Commission about a proposed merger of CVS and Aetna Insurance. He's mad about CVS's practices in setting pharmacy reimbursement rates in Arkansas, and so he wants to get in the way of their merger in hopes of getting something done about that. A young man was indicted in Little Rock yesterday for ordering some castor beans off the internet and making ricin with it and tasting some of it himself apparently and nearly dying. This is a Darwin Award winner for sure. He's in federal custody now. And finally, some happy news, or depending on how well behaved they are, it's happy news. The Little Rock Zoo has 3 camels. They're young ones, and you can watch them grow out at the Little Rock Zoo. Better than watching the news some days for sure. I'm resisting. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.